Oh, yo, we're gonna make this a good episode, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Today is the Week 14 preview show, but we'll start by reacting to the Cowboys Lions game. It was a pretty big game as well. And I'd like to get into that, but it would be wrong if Joey was not the one to lead us off in terms of that. So, Joey, can you take us just through your emotions yesterday as a fan of the team, as you watched it, and your overall thoughts about the game?
So leading up to this game, I was pretty nervous the whole day just going into it, only because for some reason people seem to be turning the page on Dallas, being like, hey, this team can compete, they
Like
can
me.
go on a little run. You two specifically were like, you guys were higher on Dallas than I was going into this week. I thought Dallas could win. Obviously, like I'm a fan, I'm going to find a way to think of how they can win the game, but I had a bad feeling all day leading up to this game, and then the game comes around, and it was announced that Jadeveon Clowney was a game time inactive. I think Dallas desperately missed him on the edge. He's been pretty much our starting DN. He's taken over on the edge, so he was missed for sure. But really, what it comes down to is like the Lions were able to do whatever they wanted on offense. We couldn't stop the run, and the game started. It was like six or seven, 6 or 7 straight passes from the Lions. They weren't running the ball. Dallas running a 5-man front. They are anticipating you trying to run the ball. They didn't even start that way. They were getting Jahmyr Gibbs in space early, getting the ball in his hands. He was just breaking ankles, doing what Jahmyr Gibbs does. He is currently tied with Barry Sanders now in touchdowns for running backs under 24. So that's pretty cool.
It's amazing.
We're watching Barry Sanders right now for the Lions. Jahmyr Gibbs. That's
Mm-hmm.
something cool to think about. But yeah, I mean, sloppy game from Dallas. The Lions, you could just tell wanted it more. The Lions knew what the game meant.
Tremendously.
They had the home field advantage. That was a pretty big impact, I'd say.
Yeah.
They were ready to go. They were fired up. This was a playoff game, and we saw it happen. Cowboys defense couldn't get timely stops. The special teams was pretty terrible for Dallas. It seemed like every Lions drive started around the 40-yard line. They were around
Yep.
midfield every time. And
Hmm.
they're doing this with a 29-year-old tight end receiver, whatever that guy's name is,
Yeah, I did
Kennedy.
not know. I did not know Wright was out of the game. I'm not gonna lie to you. I did not know they were
Yeah.
on their third
Uh,
or fourth tight end
yeah,
this
and
Yeah,
game.
but they
Laporta.
had this receiver. I think his name is Brett Kennedy. He was their kick returner. He's 29. Apparently he's been on the Lions since 2019, on and off. Main practice squad guy. He had a pretty big, and
Hmm.
they're doing this with a 20 game.
Also, Tesla. First of all, I kept calling him Tesla my whole time,
Yeah.
but yeah, then until the announcer said Tesla, dude, he was more active this game than I really thought.
He gets a
You
lot of
know,
touchdowns. He has like six. He probably has like 8 receptions all year, and 6 of them are touchdowns. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, machine. But yeah, I mean, what it comes down to is that Dallas. I mean, I think Schottenheimer coached a soft game. He played to not lose, and I think it was costly. How many times they were in the red zone that he just didn't go for? He took the 3 points when the Lions were scoring touchdowns nonstop on us. I think that kind of got the game away from us. I thought it was really soft. When it was like 4 minutes left in the game to kick that field goal in 4th and 3, I think it was soft before the halftime. We're gonna kick a field goal here, and the Lions ended up going right down the field to get the points back. So it was a non-impact thing. I mean, for some reason, like it's like a mixed bag with him, where like sometimes he's gonna be super aggressive and it's gonna pay out. I'm cool with being aggressive. I know you can. There's a lot of risk with that. If you don't get it, you're giving them
Right.
wherever you're. But that's sometimes the risk you need to take. That's how you win football games. So I just didn't like how many times we tried. I mean, he's really good, but I don't like the defense isn't good enough, and I just
yeah.
think I just don't like. I just didn't agree with how many times he trotted out Aubrey there when our offense needed touchdowns. So that was disappointing to see. At the end of the day, they scored 30 points. It's usually enough to win football
You
games, but
think you
not.
think Diggs is gonna be the reason it turns around, or like Clowney, like the reason why it's gonna turn it around? Like, do you think those are the two missing guys to really just make this like a
I
top
don't
ten
think
defense?
I don't think Trayvon Diggs is going to get activated. I don't really want him to be activated. I just want him to ride out the rest of the year on IR and cut him at the end of the season. June 1st cut. I don't think he's going to help you when he comes back. He's been in a locker room issue, I'd say. I mean, he just doesn't give you effort. So I don't know how you could Jerry Jones will probably put him on the field because he's paying him like $20+ million, so you probably get him on the field. But he's not a
Mhm.
guy. I don't want to cut somebody to put him on the team. That's where I'm at with Diggs. He was supposed to come
Mhm.
back last week, and it's just been a thing nonstop. Him never coming
Right.
back. But yeah, I mean, Cowboy CD Lamb got hurt, the concussion. I think that was kind of where the game
I
really
was
got away.
gonna, I was
Yeah.
gonna bring that point up, but I'll let you finish with that
Yeah.
unless you know your point.
It's just Dallas had the talent. Obviously, they always have the talent. They just didn't get it done. So that's what it comes down to. Lions won it more, and I respect that from Detroit. I mean, they knew what they were getting themselves into. They knew if they lost this game, their playoff odds were going to drop significantly. Now they're sitting in a much better spot, and Dallas has a up road hill to go to get into the playoffs. It's just not going to happen. The season's over. It's mock draft season in Dallas, so it's going to be fun to look into because we have two first-round picks. Both of them better be on defense. That's all I know.
I thought
Also
you guys
think
used one of your first round picks on Quinn Williams.
it's a 2027 first.
Oh, the 2027 first one. Okay,
They
okay,
have
okay.
they had two. They have two this year, two next year, but their Jets will get the better of whatever team's picks better between Dallas and Green Bay next year. I think it was a smart trade, obviously, because I think they're going to go all out in the offseason, plus the two first-round picks to help you out for next season. Those trades were all about next season anyway. It was just cool to see that they were making a push for this year, but it's just they left too many games on the table this year. Couldn't finish games.
Mhm.
Defense was a liability most of the season. They played well the last few games.
Yeah.
Today Clowney wasn't there this week, and that had a much bigger impact than I could have anticipated. Kenneth Murray is still the worst football player I ever watched. He is still
When I
somehow.
saw Gibbs on that little Texas route in and
Yeah,
out, and he thumped
Yeah.
it off, and he just went, bro. I saw Murray look at me like, I don't know what the fuck you want me to do, chat. Like, what
I
the
think
Yeah.
I think there's three big needs for this team, and I think they need a defensive end who's a stud, first round pick. I think they need a middle linebacker who is like can lead your defense. I mean, there's no way. Kenneth Murray is on a 1 year deal. He's done. He's not gonna be back. Logan Wilson you can cut for and not have any money against you. I think Logan Wilson is unfortunately cooked. He's really slow.
Say, what
So
was the point of trading for him? Because you guys traded him from the butt for the Bengals
It was
to.
yeah,
like a seventh round pick, wasn't it?
it was a seventh
Yeah, it
round
was
pick. It was a
nothing.
throwaway. Yeah, it was a throwaway pick just to see what he had in him. But he's a smart football player. He's in the right spots, but like when it comes to speed and all that, he is just cooked with his
Blake
legs. So,
Martinez.
yeah, he just can't run
Don't you
anymore.
dare
So
say Blake Martinez was actually making the plays for the Giants those years.
He was the same type of player though, where he was smart, but he did not have the athleticism to chase someone up the seam in coverage or chase down a Gibbs in the open field. Like it looks nice, but I'd rather just get a more talented player and coach
yeah,
him up. And if I can't move on
hey,
from him in 2 years
Yeah, but there was a player like that
instead of
called Luke Kuechly at one point.
that's
Luke
literally what
Kuechly
you're
is what
saying.
I'm talking about. He was
Yeah,
6'3", 250 and ran a
Scott,
four
what you're
five.
saying is literally what you're saying is like the comparison to Kenneth Murray. Kenneth Murray is everything you want from a physical standpoint in a linebacker, like the build and everything. But he doesn't have the mind
Right.
of what it takes to play linebacker. Where Logan Wilson has that mind, but he can't. He doesn't have the physical. He doesn't have the physical traits that
Mm-hmm.
Kenneth Murray has.
And
Unfortunately,
between the two of them, you have zero linebackers.
correct.
Yeah,
So
because you
we have
need
to.
you
We have
need a little bit
Overshown.
of
I think.
both. Yeah,
I
well,
kind of
yeah,
want to give Over. I think Overshown could play middle linebacker, but he's not doing that, unfortunately. But
he needs to be
then
like,
again,
yeah, he's
he just needs to
good where
get.
he's at.
He just needs to get healthy and then play. He just needs to finish the year healthy, have a healthy offseason, bring him in next year. Hopefully, and that knee's even better.
Yeah.
Same. Revel got picked on this game. This was the first game I noticed he was getting picked on.
Oh yeah, he
He's
fell on that.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's playing corner. He's playing corner with a knee brace on, so that's kind of a tough thing. He's been really good for us up until last week. I don't really knock him for that. I still think he's going to be a really good football player. He's another guy. Him and Overshown are just two guys I pray make it to the end of the season healthy. I don't want to see anything happen to them with their knees. I want to have a healthy offseason. I want those guys to be core building blocks for next year, and I want to see what Dallas does in the offseason to make this team better. Really, I think the offense is good. I think you got to keep Pickens, obviously. He's going to get franchise tagged, but other than that, you got to make some serious changes on defense. I would want to fire Matt Eberflus. I don't want to see him back. I don't like the zone defense. The Cowboys don't have the players for that.
So you guys are a very big man. I'm gonna jump the ball blitz kind of
Yeah,
team.
it's evident we don't have the defensive players for that, but for some reason we're doing that. And I think it's just a lot. It's been a big struggle. It's hard to watch. It was hard to watch at the beginning of the year. It got better because of Quinn and Williams and all that. But at the end of the day, like Siobhan Rebels is a man corner. He's a press man corner, and we're trying to run zone. It's just not playing to your player's strengths, and that's just an issue to me. The problem is if you fire Eberflus, you're going to be on your fourth DC in 4 years, so there's no continuity at all on defense.
Welcome to the Eagles.
And for some reason, like for the Cowboys front office, these defensive coaches have a say in who they draft. So we have a mixed bag of players that were handpicked by these
Mhm.
defensive coordinators
I
that aren't
think
even here.
if
So
you're an offensive coach, the defensive coordinator should have a say in the defensive players that get drafted to the
but not
GM.
if but
Yeah,
these
but not
guys
if you're
don't.
gonna let the guy go the next freaking year.
Yeah, like not, but also not
That's
if
on
these
the
guys.
GM. He should kind of know in the back of his head, oh, you want to get this guy? Okay, okay. But if he knows in the
I
back
don't
of
want
his
to hear
head
what
this
you got to
guy's on the
say, but
hot
your
seat,
GM and your head coach duo is pretty
I'm
terrible.
saying he should get fired. I'm saying Joe
Yeah,
Shane should be gone. That's what I've been saying. I'm over it. But
But that's what I get, like, to your point, Scotty. Like, my whole thing is like, if you think that you're not gonna have this guy, it's like you don't hire this guy to be like, I'm gonna have him for 1 year. It's like, no, you want to
Yeah,
believe in the system. You want to feel like
right,
he's good. The only reason why
got to
he's
give him a
going is
chance.
because exactly you're gonna give him a chance. So it's like that's more of the GM standpoint of like, I'm gonna get rid of this guy, or the owner's standpoint, I'm gonna get rid of this guy, rather than let's invest in this guy for 2 3 years, get him the people he needs. It's not working. Scratch that. What's next?
Yeah, I would say
Like,
the worst thing you could do is be in between those decisions, have a guy, but not listen to him, and then you're just going to fail no matter what. So, I mean, that's the only
even
reason I said that.
even if you have a guy though, you got to know as a GM, like, does this guy have an eye for talent or not? Because Dan Quinn had a say in the draft, and a lot of his guys didn't work out. Like Mozzie Smith was a Dan Quinn pick. It was terrible. He didn't
Well,
love football. Like that's just an example. Like you can't really trust just because you have a coach doesn't mean they know that what they're looking for talent wise. And I think you could even reflects talking about Dan Quinn with the
yeah.
Commanders. A lot of his picks have sucked. They've had a lot of draft picks and since he's been there, and a lot of them sucked. And then
they've
they've
only
traded a lot of
really
these people
done good on
away.
the offense, if I'm gonna be honest.
And that's Cliff Kingsbury. And I'm surprised that Cliff Kingsbury isn't really involved in this head coaching searches. I don't know how he's not really getting a look. But to each
Yeah.
their own.
But just coming back to the game real quick before we move on. I just want to add on a few things about where I thought this game had its turning point because I felt like the Cowboys had so much momentum coming into this game, and they started slow, kind of like the Chiefs game. And I felt like, all right, that's all right. They can come back into this game, and this is the moment where it went wrong. It was 10-6, and Dallas, right after hitting a big play to CeeDee Lamb, runs a play action play on first down that just gets completely blown up. And Dak tries to scramble and he ends up throwing it backwards, and it's recovered by Ferguson for like a 15-yard loss. Fast forward to 3rd and 21, and they're just trying to get in the field goal range and make it 10-9. And Dak checks it down to Ferguson, and it gets punched out by Jack Campbell. And this was something I noticed all night about this Lions defense was
No,
how
we just
much,
talked about this.
yeah, they rallied to the ball. And I thought it was like, okay, you fumbled, like you could still be in this game. The Lions turned it into 6 with the Montgomery touchdown, and then Dallas just gets the field goal at the end, and then Detroit makes it up. They trade
Yeah.
field goals at the end of the half, and then that, of course, the first play where Dak throws a slant to Pickens, and the coverage is good, and the linebacker's there to make the
Pickens needs to
interception.
catch that ball though.
Yeah, but the
Pickens'
corner was
Pickens' job.
his arm was in there. I'm not saying like it was
You gotta have
impossible for
strong
him to
hands.
catch it, and he is the type
But
of
also,
guy you would expect to make the catch. But
He
yes,
jogged the
but
route though.
yeah, Pickens was jogging a
right,
lot. It felt like Detroit knew exactly what Dallas wanted to do on offense, and it became even more evident when CeeDee Lamb left the game. They became a lot easier to guard, looked a lot like last year because like last year just had to take CeeDee out of the game, and then Dallas's offense can't do much.
yeah,
Detroit overall just were way more physical team. Another turning point too that was really the nail in the coffin was like the non-call for Jake Ferguson in
right,
the fourth quarter. Like it seemed like an obvious pass interference, and somehow it's offensive pass interference that kind of ruined the game. Because you get a touchdown there, you're only down what 3 points, so you're still alive there. I just didn't like. I didn't like even though they did call that. I think you go for it. I don't think you take the 3 points because it's easier to get the 3 points if you get the stop defensively, now you gotta allow no points to the Detroit offense.
Yeah.
But as we all know, I mean, it was just as we all know, Detroit just went right down the field.
Well, also
Well,
too throughout the game, there were also calls in my that I've seen that were against the lines that
Line,
they should have had, but
yeah,
what
I
do you
was
call
gonna
it?
offsides.
say it went
The refs
both ways.
completely like yeah. So as
Yeah,
far as the
terrible
calls,
ref, terrible
the
ref game.
things the one thing that I feel like that stymied the Cowboys personally was the CD injury. If I'm gonna be just straight up honest, like
Yeah,
when that whole injury happened, the whole energy. George Pickens stopped smiling. Bro was not about it. Bro started jogging routes. He had that easy at. I've seen him catch way more difficult catches for less. And that dude had an absolute like bucket of a pass from Dak with pressure, and he just like let it go. I think it was the Cowboys were just out of it after the injury, and they just were not about it. Now it's like, I guess now I'm curious like how does that go? Because CD's gonna be out for a couple weeks. I'm sorry, this dude hit
he
the
has 10 days, so he could be back.
this
But
dude hit the Spock though, like after
yeah,
getting his concussion, and I saw that when they hit with Tua, and that dude is, we question every single day why this man is still in the league. So it's like I'm not saying that he's on that grade of type of thing, but as far as 10 days, you're gonna have what? You're not gonna have CD for a week at least, probably.
yeah, we had that also to add on to like the ref thing. We had a bad like this the safety thing was interesting. I don't know how you guys felt about that. The
Oh, I
non-safety.
genuinely
It
think
was
that was a
it,
50.
it was
That
not
was
it was the ball was out of the end zone, so
Yeah,
it was I noticed it right away. As first
Well,
replay
this
I
is why I
saw.
asked the question is because they said it's immediately when you touch the quarterback. A sack has never been initiated by immediately when you touch the quarterback. That is because of the fact that what is it when Mahomes gets tackled and he's having to run and scramble, they don't call the whistle immediately when that happens.
If you
They never
go
do.
if you go down like from the sack, the instant you're touched is where the ball is placed. You don't lose progress for getting
You're
sacked
right, but Dak
backwards.
wasn't just falling immediately when he got sacked. He was still
no,
running and spinning off of the lineman.
Nah,
That's
he
what I'm
was
getting at.
he went down. He
He was
totally
not
went
going
down.
down. He
He
literally
went.
grabbed the ball and he was wrapping himself up, trying to fight himself to get
yeah,
out of that.
I
he
think
had
that's
both
very
feet.
very subjective though. Like you it gets to that point. That's why it's that rule that you don't lose progress for getting sacked and just trying, to carry yourself to the ground. I would definitely not argue on the 1 yard line that he was like, let me, because he knew the ball. I would assume he knows if I'm about to
He
get
knows
sacked
where
in the
he's
end
at.
zone,
I fully agree
get the
with that.
ball out and go down. That's just how you do it. And I think that's what he was thinking
I think to add on to that though, analytics say you rather take the safety there than have to punt on your 1 yard line because
because they
then
score.
yeah, because then you're putting the ball on the 50, whatever, and then that's what happened. They score a touchdown. So instead of giving up 2 points, you gave up 7 points, and that's just a bigger hole. But the whole thing is with Dallas is like, they were moving the ball. They had 417 yards and 30 points, and they lost. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Like they dominant all. That just paints the picture of how bad the defense was last night, and they couldn't get any stops. They just had no answers for Detroit.
All right. That's enough Cowboys and Lions. Very disappointing. Sorry, Joey. But maybe after a great offseason, you guys can finally put it together. Let's move on
You know
to
what I
Dan's
really want?
team. What's up?
I want that Tennessee corner, McCoy. I want him in Dallas.
We'll keep an eye on him in the offseason for draft content.